Hello beautiful people, my name is Stella Billerey and this is a collaboration with More Yoga to create awareness around World Mental Health Day. So we're all going to experience mental health in some capacity, whether that be experiencing our own mental health or inadvertently experiencing the mental health issues that people have who we love and who surround us. And I think for a lot of us practitioners of yoga or breath work or some other type of movement or a seated meditation practice, the reason that we come back and we return to these practices again and again and again is because they help us. So they help us to heal from our past experiences, trauma. They help us to feel calmer and more connected to our bodies, more grounded, and in doing so, more connected to the people around us, so we can turn up with more compassion and more wisdom, which is all wonderful things, right? So today I'm going to be sharing with you a type of pranayama. So pranayama is control of the breath. And the type of pranayama that I'm going to be sharing is a breath called Sitali breath. But before we get to the breath, I kind of want to explain to you why pranayama. And, you know, we have this human body and it's really miraculous. And it has all of these hidden, unseen things like our blood and our bones and our organs and our systems that look after us, such as our central nervous system, our automatic nervous system. And you don't need to be a scientist to understand the basics of why breath work is important for regulating your central nervous system. So a really simple way to explain it and to frame it is to think about how as a species, in so many ways, we're really adapted. We've adapted a lot. We've changed a lot, even just in the last 10 years. If you think about the exposure we have now to technology, and you look back 100 years, so many things have changed. But the intricacies of our systems haven't changed. They haven't evolved at the same pace and velocity that everything else has changed. And so that's kind of interesting. If we think back to our very ancient ancestors, those hunter-gatherers, every now and again they would experience a saber-toothed tiger. And, you know, you can imagine if there was a saber-toothed tiger in the room, what kind of response you would have. You know, your mouth is going to go dry, your heart's going to start to beat, the blood that's in your torso is going to flood towards the hands so that you can fight the saber-toothed tiger, or it's going to flood towards the feet so that you can run away from the saber-toothed tiger. And I know which one I would be doing. I'd definitely be running away from the saber-toothed tiger. But we don't have saber-toothed tigers anymore. And we live in a very safe world. You know, we have warm clothes to wear, most of us. We have central heating. We have tarmac on the floors. We walk down the street, we press a little button, we wait for the green man, and then we know it's safe to cross the road. So we're very protected, we're very safe, and yet we still feel anxious and we still don't feel safe and we still feel like we're under threat. But there's no saber-toothed tiger. We've got saber-toothed bosses, and we've got saber-toothed bills to pay, and we've got saber-toothed girlfriends. And the list goes on. We've got saber-toothed phones that are going off all of the time telling us that our bodies are imperfect and we need to be doing more. You know, you get the picture. So this is one extreme. And this is a very simplified version of understanding, you know, what's going on inside of our systems when we experience stress. And the other polarity would be, you know, at the end of your practice when you're lying down in Shavasana and everything's great, and your heart rate is low, and your temperature is a little bit cooler perhaps, and there's also saliva in your mouth, and your stomach might gurgle, and that means that it's digesting your food, and, you know, life's pretty sweet and good. And when we look at it in that simplification, we know which end of the spectrum we want to be residing in most of the time. And this is an oversimplification, obviously, and both of these systems can be happening at the same time. It's not a completely linear process, but just for the purpose of framing pranayama, which is control of the breath, I want you to have an idea about these systems. And so how do we make this switch between saber-tooth inserts social thing after saber-tooth and rest and digest, so lying down in Shavasana? Well, we have this thing called the vagus nerve, and it's actually two nerves that start in the head, and it has offshoots that go to the eyes, the nose, the ears, the tongue, the roof of the mouth, your vocal cords, down the heart, the lungs, the kidneys, the liver, the stomach, the gallbladder, the digestive tract, the bladder, all the way down to the pelvic floor. So from the top of your head all the way down. And this vagus nerve, when stimulated, can move you from that stress response, saber-tooth tiger, to lying down in Shavasana, everything's sweet bit of your central nervous system, which we want to get to, right? But you can't manipulate your kidneys or your bladder. You know, you can't change these innate parts of your being, but you can use breath work, so the lungs, the diaphragm. You can chant, you could sing, but today we're going to do Sitali breath. So we're going to go straight in. So to do Sitali breath, what we're going to do is purse the lips and take a big suck in through an imaginary straw, and then we'll exhale through the nose. So join in with me, pursing the lips, finding your imaginary straw, sucking the air in, and then as you're ready to, exhaling through the nose. So it's an inhale through pursed lips, through the mouth, exhaling through the nose, and a soft exhale through the nose. Continue. So it's an audible breath. I really want you to feel that cool air as you breathe in through the mouth, and your exhalation through the nose will naturally probably be longer, but don't worry too much about the length. Just breathing in through the mouth until you're full, and then exhaling through the nose. And the next time that you breathe in through the mouth, I want you to make the inhalation silent. So still finding that imaginary straw, breathing in through pursed lips. And then exhaling through the nose. Continue. So the volume of the breath decreases quite dramatically. It becomes much more subtle. Once you get the pattern of the breath, always closing the eyes if you feel safe enough to do so. Inhaling through the mouth. Exhaling silently if you can through the nose. Decrease the air. Breathing in through the mouth. And exhaling through the nose. Still a couple more like this. Good, and the next time that you exhale through the nose, just let go of Sitali breath. So if you can, close the eyes, coming back to regular nasal breathing. Bringing a hand onto the heart and a hand onto the belly, coming back home to yourself, breathing into the space between those two hands. Noticing any shift or change. And then as you're ready to, releasing the arms and opening the eyes. Thank you so much for joining me. I would really love to know if you have a different experience with Sitali breath, and yeah, to know if you know of any other breaths that you call upon to help you self-regulate and come to a place of calmness. All right then, my darlings. Thank you so much.